Weight Shift 8.1 The National Airspace System. Uncontrolled airspace. Understanding Class G airspace, regulations, operations, and safety considerations. We'll delve into the particulars of Class G airspace, which is essentially the airspace not classified as A, B, C, D, or E. It stretches from the surface up to the base of controlled airspace. In the majority of cases, Class G airspace overlaps with Class E airspace, commencing at either 700 or 1,200 feet AGL. In more remote areas, it can extend even higher, reaching up to 14,500 feet before transitioning to Class E airspace. It's crucial for pilots to consult the sectional chart for precise details. Now, let's discuss the operational aspects. There are no specific communication, entry, equipment, or pilot certificate requirements for flying in uncontrolled Class G airspace, unless there's a control tower present. Moving on to cloud clearances, if your operations are below 1,200 feet above ground level, AGL, maintaining clear distance from clouds is imperative. For altitudes between 1,200 feet AGL and less than 10,000 feet mean sea level, MSL, remember that C152, mnemonic 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally from any clouds. For visibility requirements during day flight in Class G airspace below 10,000 mean sea level, MSL, it's 1 statute mile for private pilots and 3 statute miles for sport pilots. Lastly, for weight shift control pilots, specific weather minimums are outlined. Always refer to the figures provided on the charts for precise details. This knowledge will prove instrumental in ensuring safe and compliant operations within Class G airspace. Navigating controlled airspace, a quick overview. Let's quickly go over controlled airspace. It's essentially airspace with established dimensions where air traffic control, ATC, provides services based on classification. There are 5 main classes. 1. Class A. Above 18,000 feet means sea level, MSL, instrument flight rules, IFR, only. 2. Class B. Around busy airports, complex air traffic control, ATC, need clearance. 3. Class C. Surrounding airports with significant traffic, communication required for entry. 4. Class D. Around airports with control towers, communicate before entry. 5. Class E. Everything else not A, B, C, or D, including lower altitudes and en route spaces. Understanding these classifications is crucial for safe navigation. Navigating Class E airspace, essentials unveiled. Let's talk about Class E airspace, the catch-all for controlled airspace not A, B, C, or D. It stretches from the surface or a designated altitude up to adjacent controlled airspace. Now, for federal airways, Class E kicks in at 1,200 feet above ground level, AGL, extending 4 nautical mile, NM, on each side, up to 18,000 feet. Over the U.S., it starts at 1,200 feet above ground level, covering coastal waters up to 12 nautical mile, NM, and stopping just shy of 18,000 feet. Communication in Class E is generally open. Yet, keep an eye out for locations designed for instrument approaches. Good practice to establish proper communication in those areas. For weight shift control below 10,000 feet mean sea level, MSL, you need 3 miles visibility in the C152 cloud clearances. Above 10,000 feet mean sea level, it's 5 miles visibility and increased cloud clearances. Navigating controlled airspace, student and sport pilot essentials. Today, let's touch on towered airport operations. All student pilots need endorsements to operate in Class B, C, and D airspace or around airports with control towers, 14 CFR 61.94 or 61.95. Private pilot students can handle Class B with specific endorsements, 61.95. Sport pilots? They also need 61.325 endorsements for Class B, C, and D airspace or towered airports. And here's the kicker: everyone, students and sport pilots, have extra rules about which Class B airports they can operate from, 91.131. Understanding Class D airspace. Guiding the skies. Let's discuss Class D airspace, the airspace surrounding smaller airports equipped with operational control towers. This airspace spans from the surface up to 2,500 feet above ground level, AGL, although we chart it in mean sea level, MSL. To enter Class D airspace, pilots need to establish two-way radio communications with the air traffic control (ATC) facility managing air traffic services before entry and maintain this communication while within the airspace. It's crucial to initiate radio contact well before reaching the airspace boundary to ensure a safe entry. An important note: if the controller responds without using the aircraft's call sign, radio communication has not been established, and entry into Class D airspace is not permitted. Additionally, be aware that some Class D airports may not operate their control towers 24/7. During non-operational hours, the airspace typically reverts to either Class E or G airspace with no communication requirements. For specific operating hours, refer to the Airport Facility Directory, AFD. Visibility requirements for Class D airspace dictate a minimum of 3 statute miles, with cloud clearances of 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet vertically. Navigating Class C airspace, safety and protocol. Let's delve into Class C airspace, the airspace surrounding airports with control towers, radar approach control, and substantial airline operations. Class C airspace spans from the surface to 4,000 feet above the airport elevation. It's charted in feet MSL, featuring a 5 nm radius surface area and a 10 nm radius area from 1,200 to 4,000 feet above the airport elevation. An additional non-charted outer area with a 20 nm radius may include satellite airports. For weight shift control aircraft to enter, contact the control tower, establish communications, like in Class D, and have an altitude encoding transponder. Entry without a transponder is possible with prior permission from Air Traffic Control, ATC. Cloud clearances are the same as Class D, 3 statute miles visibility and a minimum distance from clouds of 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally. Given the increased air traffic in Class C, including larger airplanes with stronger vortices, pilots should be aware of the higher chance of encountering wingtip vortices, especially at airports with significant traffic. Navigating Class B airspace, skies above the giants. Let's dive into Class B airspace, typically from the surface to 10,000 feet MSL, surrounding the busiest airports nationwide for IFR operations or passenger enplanements, figures 8.3 and 8.10. To enter in a weight shift control aircraft, similar to Class C, contact the control tower, establish communications, like in Class D, and ensure you have an altitude encoding transponder. Without a transponder, entry is possible with prior permission from Air Traffic Control, ATC, received an hour before. 14 Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, Section 91.215, D3. Unlike Class C, where you can go over the top without a transponder, in Class B airspace, that's a no-go. Cloud clearances remain the same as Class D, 3 statute miles visibility and 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally from clouds. High-altitude essentials for weight shift control pilots. Let's talk about the airspace above 10,000 feet mean sea level, MSL, and below 18,000 feet for our weight shift control aircraft. For visibility, we're looking at over 5 statute miles, and cloud clearances go up to 1,000 feet below, 1,000 feet above, and 1 statute mile horizontally. Remember, if your weight shift control aircraft isn't equipped with an electrical system, you'll need an altitude encoding transponder according to 14 CFR Section 91.215. Now, on to oxygen. Above 12,500 feet MSL up to 14,000 feet MSL, you'll need oxygen if your flight lasts more than 30 minutes. Beyond 14,000 feet means sea level, it's oxygen for the entire flight. And, once you hit 15,000 feet MSL, everyone on board needs supplemental oxygen. Understanding Class A airspace and high-altitude regulations. Class A airspace generally spans from 18,000 feet MSL up to and including Flight Level 600, FL 600. It includes the airspace overlying the waters within 12 nautical miles of the coast of the 48 contiguous states and Alaska. Unless otherwise authorized, all operations within Class A airspace must be conducted under Instrument Flight Rules, IFR. Importantly, Class A airspace is not applicable to weight shift control pilots. Weight shift control operations are not conducted in Class A airspace. This regulation is in place to ensure that only appropriately equipped and certified aircraft with the capability for Instrument Flight Rules, IFR operations are allowed in this high-altitude airspace. If you click like and subscribe and leave a comment, we will provide a coupon for a free PDF download, one of 9 ebooks. However, each individual can only download up to 1 out of 9 ebooks for free.